baby.
It's a film that every time I watch playback, I just can't wait for it to be done because I really want to see it.
It's just so nice to have people being so energetic and believing what they do.
This movie was like a dream, like a thing I just held on to, and then they said, all right, kid.
I'm a big fan of films like True Romance, or I love the look of a Wong Kar-wai movie, something that's really beautiful but gritty and edgy, and a romance that is soft and is tender, but is surrounded by this craziness.
This is extremely romantic, but in a specific way. It's brutal as well, and it's funny as well. It's a heightened drama that just feels like you want to join it. You want to just embrace it.
In terms of tone, we have tone closer to True Romance, and at times a tone closer to like early Cusack films, where it's almost slapstick. It's right on the verge of being slapstick.
It's dark, but it's also very touching and uplifting because it deals with true love.
Maybe that's one of the things that makes it so interesting, is it's not necessarily trying to be any one thing, and at moments it can be very dangerous, and at other moments it can be very funny or heartwarming.
Hi, I'm Charlie Countryman.
The film starts when her father's passing, and basically through that she meets Shia's character Charlie.
For the first time, Charlie sees something that speaks to him in a very deep way and that he wants. He's sort of adrift in the Chicago section, so after some craziness in the airport, he first lays eyes on Gabby, and it's a very powerful moment.
You meet a kid who's floating through life, doesn't have much direction, you don't really get a sense of much of his history other than the fact that he's losing everything all at once. It's calamities when you meet him. He winds up in this drug-fueled dream during the loss of his mother, that a Siddhartha moment that sort of gives him his path. His path is to go to this foreign place, Bucharest. Why, he does not know. He lands there and falls in love.
And they kind of embark on this crazy romance, but unfortunately she's still claimed by Nigel, by Mads, and it causes a lot of problems for everyone.
Even though they're not in a relationship anymore, he isn't going to allow her to be in a relationship with anyone. And as a young, inspired man, he's decided this to be his last stand, if it need be. He'll go to the mat for this girl in love.
What are you doing here, Nigel?
A taking of the odds, care of the soul. Listen, I happened to hear about old Victor's spectacular and horrible passing. I came back to pay my respects.
How could you have heard? It only just happened.
Gabby played cello her whole life, and that was pretty much the object of her desire until she meets Matt's character, Nigel. She kind of falls head over heels for him before she really gets an idea of who he is, and she finds herself in way over her head and finds out he is not the best person, a criminal, drugs, murderer, just everything kind of bad.
Nigel is married to Gabby. I haven't seen her for 3 years, and her life is starting to change, and it's all good, and I kind of pop up from nowhere, and I make a hell of a lot of problem for Charlie.
And the rest is sort of him chasing his dream, chasing his love, chasing the only thing that ever meant anything to him, the only thing that ever gave him substance. It's the only thing he ever thought was of value enough to give everything for.
Come in. Hey, I'm Luke. This is Carl. That's your bed there. Just make yourself at home.
My name's Charlie. Charlie, nice to meet you.
We come into it when Shire's character Charlie arrives at the youth hostel, and we're his bunk buddies, and he's like another little pal for us to party with, and obviously it gets a bit more complicated than that.
These guys are great new people that, you know, British guys that he's just met, and they're his youth hostel buddies, and they get him to go out one night and they listen to his stories about this girl he just fell in love with, and they trade stories just kind of like you do as a young backpacker.
This was the perfect script. I read this when I was 18. You know, I've had this in my pocket for quite a while. When I was really young, 13, 14, some of these OGs said, you know, always have something in your pocket, kid, something you love. This was always something I just carried with me. And finally, Voltage was like a miracle.
We were wrapping Company You Keep, and I said, what do you want to do next? And he says, well, I've always wanted to do this movie, Charlie Countryman.
And I'm thinking, man, the moment did come. And I gave them the script, and they thought like I thought. It was something special.
I think I read the script like 3.5 years ago, and then it was taken by another director, and I just kept track of it. And when there was a door opened, I attacked. And I spent 6 months pitching on it till I basically got attached.
It's an extraordinary script of a young man finding himself falling in love in an unusual and unique way.
I couldn't put it down. The script was that good. It was just funny, it was engaging, it just drew you in, and it was such an easy read and so whimsical that I really, really wanted to be involved in the project.
That is one of the great things about the script, and what Matt Drake did such a great job of, is that it is very dramatic and it is very, I know, high energy and intense, but it is also kind of fantastical and it's surreal, and there is a lot of comedy in it.
It's sort of loosely, very, very loosely, wishful thinkingly based on an experience I had in Budapest when I lived there. I was a school teacher, and I had a mild flirtation with the mother of one of my students, and 2 or 3 months after that, the school gets shut down, like cops everywhere, and you know, doors locked, blocked off, like what's going on? Turns out this woman's ex-husband had threatened to come take the kid out of school, guns blazing. And so I just said, what if I had a relationship with that woman? What would have happened, you know? So the story sort of came from there.
Putting together the cast and crew on Charlie Countryman was a very, very long process. When we read the script, the actor that we thought was best suited in the world for it was Shia.
Shia has really, really impressed me on every level. You know, he's really stepped up to the plate in every way. You know, he's an amazing actor, he's extremely focused, he's got amazing energy. He comes on just like a hurricane onto the set, just ready to go.
His energy, his commitment to what he's doing is out of this world. And we don't have to be looking out for him because he's been around for a while, but I see a giant future for this guy.
To see him go deeper and darker and quirkier and just colors that we haven't seen in him before, I think that that's what he's trying to go for as an actor, and I think that this story is a good vehicle for that.
I had brought some photographs along. The art department had asked would I bring photographs from my family to perhaps superimpose and make a family for this family that we're playing. Took my breath away the way that boy studied those photographs. And he came to one particular one, and he just absorbed everything in it, took it into his system in such a beautiful way for this acting nerd to observe. It was a photograph of me before I was a mother, holding my niece. And for him, I could tell that this was Kate and he. It's not every day you run into an actor who knows how to use a tool that way. It's been a joy working with Shia.
This is big to us.
To us?
Us, 2 letters, whole world. Whole world, like an oyster that you can put the future and the past into, right? And in the middle is this us thing, which is a pearl, which is us. I've always wanted to work with Evan. She's a different school of actor, really. We have totally different styles. I'm a from the gut, find the moment, there's magic, we find it once kind of person, you know? Let's work for that one moment. She's the person that'll give it to you 50 times and it's always good.
We got her a dialect coach. I know she used the dialect coach a little bit, but not as much as I thought she would have needed to have delivered the performance that she did. It was such an amazing transformation that I thought she'd have a dialect coach like next to her for every single line, and she didn't.
There were points where like some of the young kids would come up and they would ask her things and she wouldn't be able to respond, but they had heard her speaking, you know, over to the corner and they thought for sure she was a native.
I want to apologize for my behavior earlier. Seems I still have the curse of Henry. I thought I had it under control, but seeing her today just, you know, it all came back in a flood.
We got so lucky with casting on this. Mads is very, I mean, he's perfect for this character. I can't really imagine anybody else playing him. You know, he's not only extraordinary to look at, but he has this incredible simplicity and intensity that, you know, one look will just send shivers down your spine. And that's exactly what we needed for this character, because you have to fear him, but love him at the same time. And he just nails that.
It's always a challenge to be like the bad guy. When you enter the room, everybody shuts up and they just listen. That's where you have to rely on your fellow actors to do that, because you can't really play it yourself. You only have this much charisma. And at the end of the day, it's a collaboration, and you have to make the scene together.
Can I have one of those?
On my back.
Couldn't say for now that my back hurts too, Bill?
Choose the ticket if it hurts as much as mine does. My role in the movie is to help set up his life before he leaves to go to Bucharest.
Vincent D'Onofrio is an amazing actor and is such a beautiful, deep, and kind human being. He was there at the bedside as Kate is dying. And I said to Vincent afterwards, I hope your wife wouldn't mind, but when I'm going, could you maybe be the one that comes? Because he really seemed to know how to sit by somebody's side and let them pass out of this world. It was extraordinary. My eyes closed. All I knew was to feel him beside me, and as he held and touched my hand, it was really, really beautiful.
You just getting today?
Yes, today.
Yeah? Where you come from?
Chicago?
Chicago?
Yeah.
Hey, Chicago! It's my kind of town.
Is it?
Yeah, I've never been. You like ecstasy, Charlie? In answer to your silent question, Charlie, this is why I love this guy. He's fucking crazy. He's a party animal.
Yeah.
We should go and get a few beers or something. You up for that?
Beer, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, first round's on you.
I play Carl, and he's quite a complicated character. He's a virgin, and he's an aspiring porn star. He's kind of quite an intense, when you first meet him, quite nervous energy. I just loved the script. I thought it was just really funny, and I love the character, and it's been quite kind of interesting trying to find something else to do with my life now Harry Potter's ended. And this just seemed like something just completely kind of opposite and just edgy and just a lot of fun, really.
Frederick Bond, our director, who, you know, really knows how to, you know, capture a moment and also how to, you know, get to the heart of the scene and to play those different tones and to explore those different tones. He's got phenomenal instincts as a director. You see that he gets into a situation and instinctually oftentimes he's like, oh, that's the way to go, or this is the way to go, and he trusts himself in that.
It's lovely to work with him because he's so energetic, he's always in a good mood, he's always excited, like almost like a little boy, and I love that. The director and the producers are responsible for the mood on the set.
Frederick is one of the most energetic people I've ever met. I mean, you wake up in the morning, he's been at the gym, you came home at night, he goes to the gym, and he's constantly full of ideas. And this is his first feature film, first time working with actors. And that combination of him having a big heart and big understanding of humanity and at the same time having a very technical expertise, I think it's a beautiful combination.
He's a really enthusiastic guy who is completely open to any suggestions, any sort of input you have, any ideas that you have, and ways you want to take the character.
He adores actors, which is a really good thing, and he is incredibly talented, and it's evident within a moment of meeting him that his talent is there, his passion is there.
Every day he comes on the set and he's ready to go. He gives you high fives, he's really got this amazing vision for this movie. He's brilliant at taking the story to the next level with the way he shoots films and with the way he lingers on moments, and the way that a lot of the best things about this movie, I think, are the moments where nothing's being said, but everything is being said in those silences. The tension is pretty incredible, and I think that's so important. It's been great to actually be shooting in Romania and to be around the people and the culture and really get immersed in the city, and it really helps you get into character and more of an idea of where this person is coming from. There's something very romantic about it, and there's something so cinematic about it too.
The locations here in Bucharest are both gritty but have a lot of heart, and the city really grows on you as a character in the movie.
We treated it like the star of our movie, actually. We catered to it. Just like your famous 70s films like Taxi Driver, where New York is a character. It's a living, breathing entity in the movie. Romania is the same thing here.
This was one of my top experiences. The crew was super fast. We were going to put up a dolly track on the road. It was just extremely smooth and very fast.
This is a studio, obviously, but it's not a normal studio as I would see back home. It's amazing. You can see it's old and it's really gritty, and there's been made quite a few films here. So it's got some tradition, smelling of tradition.
This studio here is quite interesting, because the town around it, 80% of the people in the town work in the studio. I don't know if you know that. It's an amazing thing. It's like old Hollywood.
So it's actually an easy place to make a movie in many ways, because you have a group of people within the crews here who've worked on many, international and local and European productions, so they're well trained. If you roll up your sleeves and work closely with them, you'll find that you'd have no better partner anywhere to make a movie.
Basically what we're doing is this is a near avoidance of a crash, and what happens, the two guys that are driving the ambulance with the body in it, they've been on the wacky-backy and they're driving a bit erratically, and they come down here and you see there's a big metal ramp there. What he's going to do, he's going to be hitting that about 70-75 kilometers an hour, which will flip him up in the air, completely roll him over, and he'll end up being smashed up down there.
We've got a rig behind us that's being rehearsed right now that has to happen simultaneously, so it's stressful, but you also have to take the time to get it right. We've got a fantastic stunt coordinator. Every time you do something like this, it's pretty nerve-wracking.
This we're putting, which is the hero car where the main actor's in, they're going to be sitting inside this one, and we're going to get a shot over their shoulders of seeing the actual accident with the ambulance, because it's a near miss for them. So we fitted this up on a turntable, and what we do, we're going to basically pan this one like a camera, so that it'll be faced at the ambulance all the way through, and we just move it and keeping the ambulance in frame all the way through the whole accident. So we'll have a reaction from the actors inside the car, from their POV of seeing the whole accident, that's happening.
We are involved like 5-6 cars, just to do it to looks more beautiful shot, more dynamic. It is not a static shot. I don't have to think about the other cars, because I want to go straight in that ramp, in the perfect position, perfect speed, and to do it, to control it.
We only have one shot at this, because we only have the one ambulance, and I'm sure the stunt guy that's driving it won't want to do it a second time today, that's for sure.
Ready, and 3, 2, 1. Action! Okay,
well, that's it. I mean, that was a perfect stunt. He hit it perfectly. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. The doors open when they're supposed to open. And the most important thing, he got out totally safe.
To have the combination of an amazing story, amazing characters, love, heartbreak, death, violence, set in this beautiful picture is kind of awesome. It's kind of everything in one.
It's been delightful, full of amazing surprises.
At the center of it, this is a real love story, and it's an intense love story, and I think it's a stew that people haven't experienced.
I feel like it's one of these movies that you can watch over and over again and be inspired and bring back memories and really respect the journey that Shai's character goes on.
I'm stoked, I'm excited, I'm so happy that I've gone through it. And it was amazing to learn from these people because they've made so many amazing movies. Having directed them was a huge honor and so much fun, so much fun.